Cool. All right, let's go. All right, good morning, everybody, and a good morning it is. I see a lot of people are already on here. Hello to Jennifer, Devin, Haley. I saw Lisa on here. Yeah, Lisa, Jennifer. Jennifer, I hope you got your prize. Did Jennifer Greenfield get her prize yet?
We had to postpone it because of the storm.
Right. Oh, yeah, the storm. We're talking about the storm today. This is Breakfast with Disaster. My name is Dan Bauer. It has been a little while since I've been hosting, but this is a topic that I thought was really important and I wanted to speak to you guys about. We'll get to that in a second. If you guys never seen this show before, it is very, 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 very simple. Every Tuesday at 10 a.m., we are live right here. We're with ServPro. We're going to talk about the worst things that can happen to you so you know how to avoid them. And why do we know about that? It's because we're the people who deal with them for you. Again, my name is Dan Bauer, and let's jump right in. I mean, unless you live on Mars, and if you do live on Mars, hello. You know totally well that we got slammed with snow last weekend. It was serious enough for there to be like a FEMA emergency declaration. It was no joke. We were a fixture on the national news. I got a lot of people texting me from out of state. My poor mother asking if I was snowed in, if I was in danger. Things like that. We were totally fine. We're down in Hamburg, so we got hit with about 6 feet, but we made it through. There's some cool headlines to come out of it, some fun stuff. This is the city of good neighbors. My favorite, and you guys probably saw this on the Bills game, which go Bills. You might recognize this guy here, Josh Allen. Mark Braun, who is the brother of the owner, one of the owners here, got a shout out on the Bills game for helping Josh here, who looks very tiny in this picture, shovel out of his house so he could get to Detroit. You might not remember Mark because he was also pictured next to a man called Squirrel Winter. And let's be honest, that's a much better name than Mark Braun. But they helped Josh get out of there, get to Detroit, so they got a shout out, which I thought was pretty cool. So thank you, Uncle Mark. That is the last bit of good news that I have for you guys. This show is called Breakfast with Disaster for a reason, and we've got disasters to talk about. Here's my warning for you. As disruptive as the snow was when it first arrived, it might cause even more damage when it melts. And here's what I mean. We're going to return to 8th grade science class for this one. Here is my old dunce cap. Do you guys remember what the first law of thermodynamics is? I will pause for effect. It's matter cannot be created nor destroyed, in very simple terms. The law of conservation of matter. What does that have to do with anything? Why are we talking about that? Well, let's talk about the snow on your roof, on all the roofs that you drove past this morning to get to work. There's feet and feet and feet of, there's tons. And if you've looked at the weather, and this has already started to happen, we're getting into rising temperatures. We're in like the mid to maybe even upper 40s this week. That snow is going to start to melt. Probably not all overnight. It's not going to be like 70 degrees, but it's going to start to melt gradually. And this has already started to happen. First law of thermodynamics, right? Matter cannot be created nor destroyed. That snow melt, that water, needs somewhere to go. It's not just going to disappear into the air, disappear into the ether. It has to go somewhere. Now, ideally, as everybody knows from owning a house, that water is going to flow down your gutters. It's going to go, back into the water table, back into the ground, whatever magic that is. With a snowstorm like this one, though, there's a risk that things might not go as planned. On one hand, that's just like a heck of a lot of snow to deal with. So there's actually a recent study that came out from the U.S. Geological Survey looking at what happens when there's this much snow that melts. And they said it's actually linked pretty significantly to all sorts of nasty stuff. Landslides. Debris flows into the water supply, just so much water running into the water supply, bringing all sorts of stuff with it. Trees, cars, who knows. And flooding. Significant downstream flooding as that snowmelt kind of runs into the river. We are very unlikely to see like a major regional flooding event, anything that would be named or really affect anyone here. But what we are likely to see is more localized incidents. Basements flooding, you might see sump pumps backing up, just not able to handle that much water in the ground. But what I really want to talk about is something we see every single year, and we're going to see from this storm for sure, and that is ice damming. And let me just take a break to say good morning, everyone. See if anybody popped on here. Ice dams. So you guys might remember this from last year, and I have a very handy little checklist I can give you if this is a topic you want to learn more about. But Ice dams are exactly what they sound like. They are dams made of ice, and you can see one formed on this roof here. They form on the edge of the roof after there's been snowfall, and they trap melting water as it's trying to come down off the roof, and that can cause all sorts of issues because that water cannot get in your gutter, cannot go to the places it's supposed to go. If you've seen big, massive overhangs of snow on your house or other people's houses, then you've probably looked at an ice dam. They're everywhere. What's the big deal? Well, matter cannot be created nor destroyed, right? That water needs to go somewhere. And if it can't run off your roof, that doesn't mean it's just going to hang out up there and not have any effect on your home until the end of time. It needs to go somewhere, especially as snow melt continues and that water continues to accumulate. So if it can't go on off of your roof, where will it go? Very often it will go inside your house. It will find little tiny cracks in your roof, maybe, go in through your attic, in through your insulation, in through your drywall, into your walls, through your floors, through your ceilings, depending on how much water is flowing in, how much access it gets. Could get into wall cavities, and you might not realize it until you see something like staining, discoloration in walls, bubbling drywall, even pools of standing water in strange places. It could go on for a little while before that stuff even becomes obvious. And that's bad. You've got water damage, you've got the potential for mold and microbial growth, and this, in particular with ice dam, it can be very insidious. It can be kind of hard to know what's happening until it's already been happening for a little bit. We see this every single year in Western New York. We've got older houses, they've got sloped roofs, they've got cracks in the roof, maybe it's ready to be replaced, but wear and tear on roofs is a very natural thing. Your roof doesn't have to be old for this to happen. We're definitely going to see it with this storm, just with the amount of snow that we are dealing with. Question, of course, is what can you do? This is a funny, goofy-looking picture of a roof rake. An ounce of prevention in this case is worth a pound of cure. And I don't think she's on, but Kathy Quinn from John Mouse State Farm always reminds me that she rakes her roof every time I see her. And I'm so proud of her because she is right to do it. And here's why. Roof rake pulls that snow down. You might not get every single bit of it, but you're going to get the major snowbanks down. Without that snow, you're not going to have an ice dam. You're not going to have this problem. Roof raking is not fun, and it can carry some risk that you can damage your shingles. But generally, I would say it's probably worth it if you own one. Pull down those big drifts. You will prevent the dams from forming. You will not have this problem. There are other things that you can do kind of over the long term. I mean, the best thing you can do is make sure your roof is heated evenly so that there aren't these hot and cold spots that would cause water to freeze, refreeze, unfreeze, etc. But roof raking is probably your best bet. If you do end up with an ice dam, you have a couple of options. One is look for water damage. You will say this is a picture of bubbling drywall. This can be sort of a smoking gun. Obviously, if you find water in your house, that's kind of a smoking gun. Discoloration and especially like mold or microbial growth forming is a pretty obvious red flag. You've got a moisture issue, then you've probably got an issue with your ice dam. Here's what to do if that happens. First thing is still to get rid of the dam. If you have a rake and you can pull it down, do that. Oftentimes, if they're big enough to cause this kind of water damage, that can be kind of dangerous. So if it's going to put you in any sort of harm's way, don't do it. Call a roofer. They'll do it for you. There are other ways to deal with ice dams. You can Google it. There's all sorts of home remedies. Generally, I would say if you've got something serious, a roofer still is your best bet. But you pull that dam down and you give us a call. We'll come and check for moisture. We'll give you a sense of what you're dealing with. Hopefully, it's not anything major. It's a couple of drips in the wall. It's fairly easy to dry, but we've seen these become very common and some of the water damage be pretty significant. So I do want people to be careful. I don't want anybody getting up on a roof and trying to pull a gigantic ice dam down and hurting themselves. But be cognizant and be aware as the snow starts to melt, this is going to happen to you, potentially. It could happen to your insureds, your neighbors, your friends, your family. It could ruin Thanksgiving, and nobody wants that. And if you do have an issue, give us a call, and we'll certainly help you out. Chris did remind me that it is Thanksgiving. Like in 2 days, I totally forgot. So I have zero Thanksgiving news to share. I did not dress like a pilgrim. I did not do any of that. I'm very sorry. But I'm very thankful that you guys hung out and watched this show with me. And to show you how thankful I am, it's time to draw the prize. And I am just going to bring up my handy-dandy prize wheel here. And there it is. And I just want to say a good morning to Kathy. Oh, Kathy's in Georgia. Jealous, Kathy. I hope you're having a great time. Melissa, good to see you. If you guys are watching this show and you do not know what this prize wheel is, I will tell you. We register everybody who watches the show and lots of other people to the Serve Pro Mug Club. They get a cool coffee mug. They get a number on the bottom. I register that number to this wheel. We've got hundreds of people in the Mug Club. It's a cool thing. And every week we draw a prize. And here's the kicker. If you're watching and I draw your number, and Jennifer Greenfield can attest to this, you will get a double prize. So the only way I can know if you're watching is if you comment right now and tell me good morning, say hello. Otherwise, I will not know you're watching. You will not get your double prize. It'll be very sad. So I will give you a second to do that, and then we will draw this week's winner. All right. We're all set. Hopefully people are commenting. Let's spin. And here we go. And hopefully you guys are getting that beautiful wheel sound coming through. What do we got here? 151. Early number. Bacardi. Oh, that's Jackie Hirsch. Jackie, are you watching? I hope you're watching. Jackie, I don't see you on here. Definitely shoot me a comment if you are. If not, well, then I'm sorry. Bad Thanksgiving. No double prize for you. But congratulations to Jackie. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Kathy, have fun in Georgia. I'm very jealous of you. We will be back next Tuesday to talk about all sorts of other disasters. We are getting into pipe burst season, so expect some really nasty stories from us. Stay safe out there. Stay warm. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we will see you next week. Thank you.